Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018, the beta with Zebu Nation. And here we are back again with FC Dallas of MLS, and we are storming through the playoffs. However, before we get to the playoffs and all that fun stuff, we're going to take a little trip over to MLS Corner because I was notified via email that we got some contracts running out in a couple of months. And this brings me to my topic for the week for MLS Corner, which is the MLS off season. Now, this is a very important time of year for MLS, and even though we're still in the playoffs, there's just about half the league whose season is already over with. And so they've already started on their preseason or their postseason preparations, I should say. And things like this email are some of the things that happen and some of the things you have to remember even while you're going through the playoffs. Because as I mentioned a couple of videos ago, the key to having a successful MLS roster is planning. And the planning starts the day the season ends. Even though you're still in the playoffs, you have to have an eye towards the future and you have to start planning your roster now. And emails like this will help remind you. Because this tells you FC Dallas contracts that are about to expire. And here's a list of those players. These are the lists of players who are out of contract at the end of the season and will qualify for either the MLS re-entry draft or the December waiver draft. Okay, so the cavalcade of drafts in MLS begins early. It begins in December. You know, the season is barely over and the drafts are going to start basically right after MLS Cup completes. Drafts and all that stuff starts. So you have to have a plan. You have to be prepared. Now, what's the difference? There's several drafts that we talk about in MLS. There are two postseason drafts and two preseason drafts. So the two postseason drafts are listed right here, the re-entry draft and the waiver draft. The two preseason drafts that happen at the beginning of next season are the MLS Super Draft, which is for rookies coming into the league, and the March, I guess it's the March waiver draft. So it's yet another waiver draft. How can that be confusing? There are two waiver drafts. Why would anyone be confused about that? Well, we're not going to talk about those two drafts. We're not going to talk about the preseason drafts. Right now, we're going to focus on the postseason drafts, which are the two drafts mentioned in this email, the re-entry draft and the waiver draft. So what's the difference between the two? The re-entry draft is for veterans, players 23 years old and older, whose contracts have run out at the end of the season. So basically, it's these guys here who are 23-year-olds or older, and their contracts are expiring at the end of the year. So if Maynor Figueroa, 34 years old, he's going in the re-entry draft. Now, the waiver draft is for players 22 and under, and that includes players here like Tommy Thompson. His contract runs out, so he's 22 years old, so he'll go in the waiver draft, but also it will include players 22 years and under who are cut from their roster, and their contracts are not expired. And that's a different distinction. It's an important distinction as well. And that brings us to the difference between the two drafts, which is the re-entry draft. Not only is it for older players, but it's for players whose contracts have run out. So if you sign them, if you draft them in the re-entry draft, you'll get a chance to renegotiate their contracts. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing, but at least it gives you a little bit of flexibility with your roster, and you can say, okay, I need this guy to be on a senior contract, or I need him to be on a reserve contract, or I need him to have X, Y salary. You have that flexibility of renegotiating. Now, players in the waiver draft, you don't necessarily have that same flexibility with everybody, and it's on a case-by-case basis whether or not their contract is expired or not. And if it's not expired, then you just have to pick up their contract as is and fit it into your roster however you can. So these drafts take place pretty close to each other. the date sort of changes every year, but it's usually sort of sometime between the second week in December and the first week in January is when these two drafts take place. So you don't have a lot of time between the two drafts, and you have to, again, plan your roster accordingly. So let's look at these guys here, these particular players for FC Dallas. Why are they on this list? And, do I want to keep these guys or not? I think the case for Koycraft, Nick Belser, and Marco Antonio Vidal, these are three guys I don't necessarily want. These were guys who were, youngish players. They're all in their, well, Vidal is 31, so he's out of here for sure. Belser, 24, he's on that edge where he's not going to get any better. This is the guy. This is who he is. And is he an okay player? Sure, but I don't necessarily need him. I'm fine getting rid of him. Same with Koycraft. He's a youngster. He's an academy player. But I've scouted this guy 6 ways to Sunday, and he's just not going to get any better. So might as well. We got a ton of young strikers coming up, guys who can play the exact same position as Koycraft. So we're going to let Koycraft go. Wish him luck on his career. Now, these other two guys are interesting. Figueroa, he's one of our team leaders. He's a very important reserve player for us. Still pretty good. But at 34 years old, making $338,000, that's too much. I could try to re-sign him and get him at a lower cost, lower salary, but I think I'm going to let this guy go. He's probably going to go back to Honduras, finish out his career in Honduras, and, maybe retire, maybe come back as a coach or something. I don't know, but we're going to let Maynard Figueroa go, and hopefully that leaves us a spot at the top of our team dynamics for a guy like Zimmerman to come up and become a team leader, or somebody like that to step into his place. So we're going to let him go. That's going to be a big loss for our team. That brings us to Tommy Thompson, a hot prospect, 22 years old. He can play on the wing, left wing, or right wing. And this is a guy we signed earlier in the season out of necessity because we just needed a body. We needed a guy out there on the wing, but he's got a little bit of potential. Let's take a look at Tommy Thompson. 3-star potential. He's got great speed, really good physical abilities. He's getting better. You can see his stats are improving here. His pros and cons, he doesn't enjoy big matches. He's inconsistent. He wants more playing time. So this is a guy I would consider re-signing because he's got the potential, because he's young, because we need him at his position. But he's making too much money. His contract, $155,000 a year, is too much for a kid who's not really a starter, who's not really a guy I want to be a starter. So I would have considered re-signing this guy for a smaller contract if he didn't have all those negative personality traits. We don't like guys who don't like big matches because we're looking to win championships. We're looking to play in the Champions League, all that kind of stuff. So instead of renegotiating with Tommy Thompson or anybody else, we're going to set them all for release. Are you sure you want to set all these guys for release? Yes. See you later. These guys are entering the draft, the various sundry drafts that are going to happen in MLS. And this is where we start to plan our roster. So as you can see, Figueroa, team leader, going out the door. He's an international player going out the door. Big salary slot, $338,000, $155,000, $85,000, $100,000. So we're just trimming the fat off the roster, off the salary cap, and we can go out and either use this money to re-sign some of our big players or go out and sign some new players. And if we, do one last little look at our squad, we can look at our registration here and our contracts that expire this year. We got quite a few expiring this year. Yeah, make sure that those are the guys. Yeah, so we noticed Vidal, Figueroa, Leonardo, his contract expires this year, but he's not eligible for either one of those drafts for whatever reason. Maybe he hasn't been in the MLS long enough or something. I don't know what. So this guy, he's just going to be a free agent when he gets let go. That's fine. We don't really care. Zach Lloyd. Dilly Duca is a guy we could think about re-signing. Again, we're not going to have a lot going on the left wing. He's 28 years old. We could maybe try to re-sign him, for a lower salary as a rotation player, something like that. Jesse Gonzalez, we got a contract offer out for him. He should be signing that real soon, I certainly hope. Contract offer. Player has already agreed to a contract with the club. Okay, so he will be signing with us at the end of the season. I'm just paranoid about that. But yeah, so all of these guys are going to be leaving, and we're going to have to replace them somehow. The good news is that if we go over here, we look at draft allocations. We got 4 pretty good draft picks coming up, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks in the MLS Super Draft. Plus, we've got the waiver drafts if we see anybody and all that kind of stuff. And we've got free agency coming up. So our roster looks to be in good shape. We don't have any of our major team players going out there. As I mentioned, we're re-signing Gonzalez. So our big key going in the offseason will be to find a left winger and just make sure we don't lose any big guys, any of our good players to, whatever happens. Sometimes you might have a big rich team come in and buy a guy out, or the things that happen in the offseason. Anyway, we're going to start continuing on here, and I think I'll pause the recording right here, and we'll advance through the week, and we'll get to what happened in the playoffs, and we'll show you some things that happened. So I'm going to pause the recording right here, and we shall be back momentarily. Okay, we are back. And there's a reason that I was just sort of thinking about the offseason. There's a reason I've got one eye towards the offseason. It's because here we are in the Western Conference semifinals, and we lost our first leg against Sporting Kansas City at home 2-1. That's not so good. If we look at the rest of the stages here, you can see that New York beat Atlanta United 3-1 in the Eastern Conference, and NYCFC beat Toronto 3-2. So there's some interesting stuff going on in the Eastern Conference. Oops, we go to the Western Conference semifinals. Portland beat Houston 2-1, and as I mentioned, Sporting Kansas City beat FC Dallas. So there's a lot of teams right now who have one leg in the off season because we're one leg down in the series. We can take a look at the schedule, and we can look at the highlights from that 2-1 loss. It was kind of a back and forth affair. Let's go to the field here. Goals only. It's kind of a back and forth affair. We were hoping at home to at least maybe start with a scoreless draw, because we came out a little bit conservative on the counterattack. And the first half went pretty well. As you can see here, 49 minutes, it's no score, it's 0-0. So I felt pretty good about the first half. I felt like we were keeping things under control. But in the second half, Sporting KC, they caught us here. This is a kind of a long highlight. It's kind of a build-up. Shows you how we were doing, how conservative we were doing. Look at how far back Michael Barrios is. He's not busting forward the way he normally is. We're just sort of playing with the ball, knocking around, looking for Max Arudi. He's kind of our only guy in attack right now. And we make a mistake there on the back line. Zimmerman just sort of boots it forward. Then Belser just gets a lucky pass. Rubio somehow onside. The only man in the history of this game ever to be onside. And he scores. And that busts it open for us. Now we have to come back. We have to go on the attack. Here's Arudi, just sends it into Barrios, who taps it forward. A very, very intelligent goal right there. And that tied it up real quick. Only 66 minutes down. But then Sporting Kansas City, they get the final goal. They get the third goal of the game here. Grazo just crosses it, and nobody's paying attention. The goalkeeper, I don't know what he's doing. He must have thought the defense was going to get it. The defense must have thought the goalie was going to get it. And that was it. That was a terrible goal to lose on, particularly. So after that, they just shut it down. They just went on the defensive, and we couldn't break them through. So now we go to the second leg. We're 2-1 down. They've got 2 away goals. So we're behind the 8 ball here. We got to win 2-1 or 2-0, or score 3 goals maybe. But regardless, we got to go on the attack. So we're going with the diamond formation. Again, Gonzalez in goal. Hollingshead and Figueroa again at the fullbacks, because our main man Acosta is out. He is still injured. Now, we've been nursing Mauro Diaz. He's got all the way back up to 90%. I think we have to play him. I think we have to put him in there. We're going to play him and Barrios. Going to get as much out of these guys as humanly possible. Put Barrios on the attack from the advanced playmaker position. So we've got all of our best players in the lineup. Ulloa, Grueza, Diaz, and Barrios in the midfield. Urruti and Coleman at striker. And we're going to have to change our mentality here. We're going to start out on the attack. We're going to go. There's no point in futzing around. We're going to start out structured and, not going crazy, but we are going to start out on the attack. We got to score goals. There's just no way around it. Submit, and let's go. Let us advance. Here we are. There's the diamond formation. There's our attacking group up there. It's almost like we got 3 strikers up top. It's almost like they got 3 strikers up top. So it has the potential of being a very offensive game. Going to get ready for the kickoff here. Okay, we don't need this. Go away. All right, so let's go to the kickoff. We're ready. We're rolling. It's time to win. So here's the real Sporting Kansas City. We saw it in the U.S. Cup. They were playing at some weird U.S. Cup stadium for some reason, but I thought that the real Sporting Kansas City had like an actual 2-story stadium, not some kind of weird fairgrounds. But here we go. We're starting off on the first highlight. This is usually not a great highlight, so but it'll show. You can see we get our fullbacks going forward. Figueroa, the old man, playing in possibly his last game ever for FC Dallas, gets dispossessed by Abdul Salam, and there's the end of the first highlight. Second highlight coming right up. Espinoza steals the ball. Sporting Kansas City on the attack. Zusi down the sideline. Our defense is a little stretched. Zusi tries to center it, but it's knocked out of there by Hedges. That Hedges playing on the left defense. Fellhaber now, corner kick, far side, lofts it in towards Besler. We've got Belser, they've got Besler, I guess. Anyway, Medranda throwing it in. Fellhaber gets it to Gerso. He's the guy who got that assist on us last game, the game-winning assist. Look at that big soccer ball over there. What's that all about? I don't know. Interesting. Hey, this is our new... No, this is their stadium. I was like, they finished our construction, but this is... What's up with that? Is that offside? That's offside. I thought that was a penalty for a second. Oh, gosh. See, we got West Ham and Liverpool on in the background. Nice Saturday afternoon here. Fellhaber sends it into Hedges. They seem to be getting all the highlights. Not real excited about that. We got a thunderstorm going on in the background as well, so there's lots of distractions for this playoff game. Fellhaber, they seem to get the ball to Besler pretty good on those corners. Gonna have to keep an eye on that dude. We're gonna have to mark him tightly. Here we go. Free kick. Diaz. Let's go. Nope. Just sort of boots it over the net. One of these days we'll get a free kick goal. Might not happen this season. It would be pretty lucky if it happened in the playoffs, but we haven't got one all season long that I can remember. Yeah, we had one against us. I know that. There's Zusi. Gets it into Gerso. Keep an eye on him. Fehlhaber takes the shot. Gonzalez stops it pretty easily. Playing with the ball back there on the back line. Hedges now on a free kick. Boots it down to Rudy. Nobody there to support him, unfortunately. Might have to... well, there's a nice steal by Figueroa, but he loses it. Ugh. Ugh is all I can say. Saloy. Not even familiar with this guy at all. Nice pass from Zusi. First of all, Figueroa, I don't know what he's doing out there on the left wing with a great pass, and then goalie tries to come out and grab it, but he just can't do it. And unfortunately, we go down another goal. We're now down 3-1 aggregate. Ulloa to Barrios. Grueza down to Urruti. Urruti looking forward. Hollingshead has it. Coleman in the box with the weak header. Just goes wide of the goal. That was a very nonchalant reaction by the goalkeeper. He just sort of, I know it's going wide. Who cares? Didn't even go for it. We got to press now, boys. We're on the attack. Let's go. Here's Barrios. Hollingshead sends it forward. Urruti, can he get there? He cannot. A little too aggressive. Let's take a look. We got Coleman at defensive forward right now. I think we'll put him at target man just to ease things up on Urruti and give us another offensive option there going forward. Clock is ticking, 23 minutes and counting. Here's a highlight for Sporting Kansas City. Saloy again gets tackled, but Espinoza, oh, there's an injury. Looks like Zimmerman injured himself on that tackle. He's all right, though. Potential upper body injury. Yes, fine. That's fine. Get back out there, buddy boy. Hollingshead to Urruti. Boy, that's a big thunderstorm. They've actually stopped a local football game due to the weather. There's a college football game going on a couple miles down the road, and it's been postponed. There's Coleman offside, of course. That's how bad this thunderstorm is coming in. So we might hear that in the background a little bit of this game. Hopefully we don't have any power outages. I am on a laptop, but still, it's disconcerting when the power goes out. Here's Fehlhaber, gets it to Zusi. Oh, great stop by Gonzalez. Great stop. Figueroa just clears it out of there. 30 minutes down. We're down a goal. Not good. Abdul Salam. Let's go, boys. Let's do something. Saloy to Abdul Salam down the far sideline looking for a cross. He gets it over there, but Hedges heads it out. Fehlhaber back into Guerrero. Gurzo. I almost called him Guerrero, who's our guy. But Gurzo wins a corner on the near side next to the Jumbotron. He can watch himself there on the big screen. Fehlhaber sends it into the corner. Hedges is there again. Hedges is playing pretty stout in the middle right now. He enjoys big games. Zimmerman still with that upper body injury. There's a nice foul by Ulloa. No, Grueza with the foul. They're just dominating possession right now on our side of the field. Espinoza has it. Oh, what a block. What a shot stop by Gonzalez. Standing on his head right now, keeping us in the game. He made that one mistake earlier, but he's trying to make up for it. Look at that. 6 shots to 2. We're being dominated at the moment. All right, we got to make a change. We got to make a tactical change. Saloy, there's a shot. All right. Tactics, team instructions. Let's get stuck in, boys. That's, I think, the only thing that can save us right now. Be more expressive, I suppose. I was hoping to save those changes to the second half. But we're going to have to go all out in this first half. We can't just sit back idly by and let the clock tick down. Fellhaber, Espinoza, Zusi for Sporting Kansas City on the far side, looking for support. Back to Fellhaber. Fellhaber forward to Saloy. Offside. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right, our tactical changes have taken into place. Now let's get stuck in. Figueroa finally gets the steal there to Coleman. Barrios loses it. Come on, buddy. Put you in the game. You're supposed to be a better player than that. I know he's playing a little bit out of position, but he's still a very good player. Oh, what another stop by Gonzalez. Wow, that was a sure goal. I thought that was 2-0 without a doubt, but Gonzalez comes up big. Big, big, big. That's why we signed this kid. You know, he makes some mistakes, but he's got that shot-stopping potential. 43 minutes here. We're getting to the end of the first half. Things are looking bleak. Got 2 goals to make up. We still need to win this game 2-1. Hollingshead now with a yellow card. Players all over the pitch looking frustrated. Here's another highlight for Sporting KC. Besler with the long throw-in. Headed out by Hedges yet again. And we got a man down in the box. Got a man down. Is that Figueroa? Is that the old man? Looks to be. 45 minutes. We got 2 minutes left in the half. Let's see if we can survive till halftime. There's Hedges heading it out. We can't really throw it long. They're keeping their central defense nice and tight back there. So we're going to have to work the ball forward. Maybe stick to position. Or not stick to position. Maybe control the ball and try to work it downfield. Here's Hollingshead with the throw in. 2 minutes left in stoppage time. This is probably the final highlight of the half. Diaz to Hollingshead. Hollingshead sends it in. Besler is there on the defense. Besler seems to be all over the field. I don't know how that's possible, but he appears to be everywhere. Gerso fighting on the outside there. He gets the ball to Fellhaber. Back to Gerso. Down the sideline to Madranda. Get the cross. 47 minutes into the first half, so we should be just about at the end. This is probably the last highlight. I know I said that last highlight. This has got to be the last highlight. We're already 50 seconds overdue. Espinoza has it now for Sporting Kansas City, just wasting time. Dribbling till his heart's content, drops it all the way back to Salam across midfield. And there we go. Finally, the end of the half. Not good. Let's take a look at our analysis. What are we doing wrong? Figueroa is injured and wants to come off. Looks like it could be a bruised knee. All right, we'll make that sub. Our tackling has been pretty good. We're also committing too many fouls. It's fine. That's fine. Tactics. Let's make the sub. We'll bring in Lloyd for Figueroa. That's pretty much the only change we can make there. Now Zimmerman injured, 6.6 rating. We could bring in Aha in that back line. That would leave us only 1 sub for the second half. We got a Rudy looking bad. We got Barrios looking bad. We got Diaz, Reza, Uloa, all with low ratings, but we can't afford to sub them out. The only way we sub them out is due to injury. So I think we will use our second sub here on Zimmerman, and we'll save our third sub in case somebody up front, because we got no better options coming off the bench. Normally we would bring Barrios off the bench for a little bit of spark, but right now he's out there and not providing us any spark at all. Likewise, Diaz. Is there anything we can do with Diaz to help him out? I mean, that's his role, man, is the advanced playmaker, so not really much. Now, we could take Barrios, make him something like a shadow striker, put him on the attack, I guess. Why not? We're looking for answers here, people. We're grasping at straws. Let's there's a pep talk or something. Pep talk, go out there and do better. Show me something else in the second half. Oop. Figueroa seems to have lost focus. Figueroa, you have been substituted for, buddy. I don't care what you think. Get out of here. Hand the rest over to the assistant. End the pep talk. Let's just go. Start the second half. All right, lads, we got 45 minutes to change our future, to postpone the off season that we were just talking about. You know, some of you, this is your last game. Some of you will never wear the FC Dallas red again. So let's put it all out there, boys. Let's give it our all. Let's, I should have made a tactical adjustment there. I should have gone flexible. Give the boys a little bit more freedom of movement out there. Confirm that. Here's Sporting Kansas City on the attack, but Hollingshead blunts that with a nice tackle in the corner. Gets it forward to Arudi across midfield. Arudi looking for support, sends it forward to Coleman. Coleman, quadruple covered, loses the ball down the near sideline. Saloy chases it down for Sporting Kansas City on the counter attack. Centers to Zusi. Zusi to Espinoza. Espinoza just sends a ball in. A wayward ball to no one. And the highlight ends there. But that's really all Sporting Kansas City has to do. They just have to stop our attack, boot it downfield, and make us start over again. We're wasting time. Wasting time. Here's Diaz now as the rain begins to fall. Throws it into Coleman, who heads it into the box, but nobody chases it down. Ulloa recovers to Gareza. Out wide to Hollingshead. Hollingshead takes a shot well over the net. That's not really his forte. I know he's a fullback who's on attack right now, but really, I use my attacking fullbacks to go more wide and cross the ball rather than to get narrow and sort of attack. So far that doesn't seem to be working. Here's Barrios in the middle, gets the ball to Arudi. Arudi again out wide to Hollingshead, but it's intercepted by Gerso. Medranda seems to have gone down with an injury. Yeah, he tries to get up, can't quite get up. Down to 52% here, so that's a significant injury. Maybe we can go at that back line now. Here's Diaz with a free kick. Gets it into Coleman. I have yet to get a penalty kick this season that I can recall. So now would be a nice time to get one. Barrios into Coleman. Coleman tries to get it forward to Arudi, but he can't. He has it now. He looks a little confused. He just takes a shot. Mella. Is it Mella? I don't know. The goalkeeper grabs that one easily. Boots it downfield. The highlight continues as Hedges heads it on. Barrios wins the ball across midfield. Coleman has it. Back to Grueza. Hollingshead is once again open on the far sideline. They get it to him. He's got a yellow card. Tries a cross. Gets deflected. Grueza gets it. Barrios just fires it wide and high and anywhere but towards the goal. Let's yell at these boys to concentrate. I expect more from you. Let's go. Come on. 65 minutes down. We've yelled at them to concentrate. Sporting Kansas City now with a throw in. Diaz wins the header, though. Gets it up to Coleman. Coleman gets it forward to Arudi. Arudi in a foot race can't beat the defense back there. Zusi has it now for Sporting Kansas City at midfield. Looks to run down the sideline. He beats one man, avoids the tackle. Crosses it to Saloy with the shot. Ooh, Gonzalez looks like he didn't see that until the very last minute, but those reflexes of his worked out in his favor. Corner kick now for Sporting Kansas City on the near side. Gartner, it's headed out. The frame rate's getting a little choppy here. I can't quite tell what happened there. Looked like the ball was headed out by one of our defenders. Gartner's going to retry this near side corner. Gonzalez high in the air to grab that one. 67 minutes down. Still 2 goals down, buddies. 2 goals down. We need 2 goals. We need it. Gotta have it. 71 minutes. Latif heads the ball back to midfield. Looks like Lloyd's going to pick it up there for FC Dallas. Across the midline to Diaz. Diaz looking to reset the offense. Ulloa to Barrios. Barrios out wide to Hollingshead down the far sideline. His centering pass is deflected out of bounds, but we get a corner kick out of that. So it's going to be corner kick far side. Here we go. Diaz. Let's do something. Boots it wide. Opara's there for the defense. Barrios tries to chase it down, and he does. He's looking a little slow of foot. He just gets tackled there by Zusi. We're going to get a free kick out of that, but our team just looks uninspired. I don't know what it is. This whole playoff run, had to kick these guys in the butts. They're not fired up on their own. Here's Diaz, sends it in. Could have used a penalty there. Rudy chases the ball down, but can't beat the defense to the ball, and they just boot it downfield. That seems to be their strategy. They're just going to take their 1-0 victory, their 3-1 aggregate victory, and go on to the next round. Here's Ulloa on the far sideline. Centers to Guerreza to Diaz. Back to Guerreza. The top of the box. Besler. The nice tackle for the defense. And Sporting Kansas City starts the counterattack. Ulloa intercepts that, though. Gets it to Coleman. Come on, boys. Come on now. Are we playing playoff football or what? Doesn't seem that way. We're lackadaisical. Let's show some passion. Come on. The old show some passion. Lobato for Sporting Kansas City into the box. Chips it across to Latif. Can't handle it, and Lloyd knocks it out for the defense. Thus endeth the highlight. 80 minutes. Things are looking dire. We're down to the wire. Stuck in a mire. Oh, God. 80 minutes. Is there anything we can do? I don't know. Diaz centers to Ulloa. Rudy takes a shot. No, gets it. Aha! Forward. He cannot score. That was our best scoring chance of the game right there. And unfortunately, it was at the foot of one of our central defenders. And not someone who can score. There's a Rudy in the box trying his best. It's not working. Guerreza to Diaz. The ball's deflected, but it gets to Barrios. Coleman looked way offside, but doesn't matter because he just boots the ball wide. What are our ratings looking at? 6.6 up and down the board. Latif nearly scores on a free kick. Gonzalez has to make a heroic save there. They're going to get a corner out of it. We can watch the Jumbotron here. Zusi now with the far side corner kick. Sends it into Besler. That dude he is their target man. I mean, I know he's their central defender, but when it comes to these set plays, man, they pick him out. Very impressed with their accuracy on these set pieces. Here's Gartner now trying his hand at it. Gets it to Espinoza. Oh, another tremendous stop from Gonzalez. He's keeping us in this series. He's keeping us in the playoffs single-handedly. The rest of his teammates are doing nothing to help him out. Tactics, 85 minutes down. Team instructions. I don't know what we can do. I mean, I don't know what more we can do here. We can go up tempo, fluid. I don't know. Just do something. Come on. Hollingshead, 86 minutes. We are coming down the wire. Ugh. The wire is awful thin at the moment. 87 minutes and counting. We're almost at the end of regular time. 2 minutes of stoppage time. I think our season is going to end on a whimper here. We're just not good enough. Not good enough. Gartner gets a shot on goal for Sporting Kansas City, but it goes wide. 90 minutes in the books. 2 minutes of stoppage time is all that remains. Can we get a goal a minute? Goal a minute. Is that too much to ask for? Probably. We do have a highlight here, though. Rudy heads it on to Lobato of the defense, unfortunately. Gerso gets challenged there by Hollingshead. Yellow card or not, he's still challenging, folks. Here's Saloy on the breakaway for Sporting Kansas City. And there is the sealing of the dealing. Cartwheel, that's right. Sporting Kansas City will now officially move on. Hollingshead to Coleman is intercepted, and there's Saloy right down the middle. Defense playing too high up. Gonzalez gets a hand on it, but can't stop it. And there's the end of our season. So now we really can concentrate on next season. And this was kind of a haphazard season as it was, slapstick, ramshackle, whatever words you want to call it. That, it was an experimental season just to see what sort of team we could slap together. Now next season we can kind of start to build things a little bit more to our liking. So let's go to the dressing room, team talk. Unlucky boys, would have been nice to win. Whatever, get out of here. Get out of here. So we're going to clean house a little bit on the roster. Zimmerman injured, out for a couple of days. That's fine. That's fine. Another defeat at the hands of Sporting Kansas City. We beat them in the U.S. Cup, though. So we stole some hardware from them earlier in the season, and they stole our dreams from us here in the playoffs. So I guess, it's even. A little bit of rivalry brewing now with Sporting Kansas City. And international duty starts. It's so lovely that a lot of times international duty takes place during the playoffs of MLS. It's just, I hate that, honestly. It happens year in, year out. And when your team gets good and you start to have a lot of international players, especially American international players, like with FC Dallas, few years in the future, and we start having all these academy players come up and start getting playing time, and they start getting good, the U.S. team comes calling, whether it's the under-20s or the under-23s or even the main squad. It kind of puts a damper on the MLS playoffs, unfortunately. But anyway, that's just MLS for you. All right, so we're going to end it there. We're going to come back, and our next episode will probably be an in-depth look at MLS Super Draft, which is one of my favorite parts of MLS because I love drafts. Everybody loves drafts. You might not know this, but the NFL draft, the NBA draft are two very highly rated television programs here in the United States every year. The NFL draft is now 4 days long. All 4 days televised, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in May, I believe it is. So drafts, much like playoffs, are a weird obsession here in the United States, and I share that obsession, and I bring that obsession here to Football Manager. So we're going to show that in our next video, and show a little bit more of the off-season and off-season moves and all that stuff. But until then, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.